So to start the day, my bias is kind of just playing to the upside because yesterday or Friday we had all these lows taken. You can even count the month low. These are very key areas in my mind. So you got the previous week, previous quarter, previous month low, and until sellers can show they can hold this under these areas, I'm interested in it bouncing back up. And that's kind of where I stand. There's a little bit of weirdness as some news. This whole big thing right here is news that there's a pause on the war. So it could be tricky today. You can see like on the volume profile, there's nothing here. So normally we like to close these gaps. Um, this gap right here, like there's no action beside buying happening right here, and there's a big gap. Sometimes you'll see it fill that and then start buying at the top of this profile, which is also Asia's high. So that's probably more than likely why I want to buy it instead of shorting the market to begin with. And then we got the 5 minute EMA cloud and the 15-minute EMA cloud. So, and we have this support zone right here. So I'm probably looking at like buying in this EMA area unless we fold over, and then I'll probably look and see if we hold this supply zone on the 4 hour time frame, and then again I'll be looking to find buys around this area, which is VWAP, Asia's high, and previous month's low, trying to see if buyers will hold this level. Um, yeah, at that point I'd probably give up on the long idea and try to go with the market from here on. And then maybe see if there's buyers here, and then buyers obviously clearly on these Asia, London low, and pre-market low, and the supply. Like right here, I would definitely start trying to get some longs. But that's my idea rolling into the day. Um, so we got like 2 minutes before the market opens. And you can see like right here, I have this big positive delta right here, which is a lot of buying. Try to see if it would hold it. So from like 500 to 524 is like a big area I would think buyers would try to defend, which is also the EMA cloud. So as a buyer, you kind of want this to hold if you're trying to buy off of that. It doesn't look like it's going to hold right now, though. So you're probably looking more into this as the market opens or this, and it could come in fast. Or we could pop right up and go on our way. I'm going to reset this delta profile on the down. It's like we're going down for the beginning. Just kind of sit and wait, see what happens. We got under this big delta, but is there enough sellers to continue this to the downside? Are all these buyers going to hold this market up? It's just not as stacked like this. They're just kind of all over. I'd say sellers do not want them to reclaim this 500, 524. Because that would probably be a little bullish. See a lot of positive delta here. But are they being trapped? It's like passive sellers selling into all this aggressive buying. Still trying. You can see it. If they give this up, you're probably gonna see the bottom of this range, this 4 hour like supplied resistance, and you could possibly see all this, like this 15-minute EMA, 200 EMA on the daily, previous month low, Asia's high, and VWAP. I would think you're gonna definitely find some buyers to at least get a pop up. I really don't want to short this now because we're in a 4 hour zone, and that's what is kind of bothering me. So you have it being. Let's see if I can pull it back longer term. So this is a major level that's been held. You could just see how much it's been holding. So like I don't really want to go against that yet in my mind. Like I think it could hold this level because we broke under it and then we reclaimed it, and you could look for the push up now off of that if buyers are here. If buyers aren't here, then it's obviously going to roll over because you get the uh, support, and then it breaks down, and then you have the reclaim of this area, and now you're trying to make sure you have buyers to make the next move up in my mind. So that's why it's hard to kind of short it for me. I just don't like the idea of a short yet. Doesn't mean it can't change. Like right now, this looks as a temporary trade, looks good to the downside to where we could break this at least. Plus you have all these trap buyers right here. Big delta, 182, 255, 378, 211, 140, and you didn't get the move up. So that shows you right there buyers are not in control of this market at the moment. Everything could change within a second. What I don't like about ES right now, because they moved together, you went over yesterday's high, you couldn't hold it, and you're breaking down from this 4 hour supplier demand zone, and you can't hold it. So to me, that would be a little worrying. But can NQ hold the market up and hold ES to get back over that supply or demand, supply or resistance? Uh, if it's going to show it's weak, ES is definitely going to be weak, and then you're just going to have a downfall. Too much news, man. Too much news. Trump loves to talk. Kind of like if you wanted to, you could play supply and resistance. Like this is the top end of the zone, this is the bottom end of the zone, and keep going back and forth with that if that's something you desire to do. Or maybe because we're on a downtrend, you just play the downside. Like now you would be shorting. Depends on what your bias is on the day. As a person that wants to short this market, I definitely don't want to see this, what's going on right now. Because now you're going to break all these people's backs right here. See how there's low volume under here? The market's not interested in it right now. The market is interested in this area right here, all this volume, and we're breaking out from that volume. See how we're getting more big volume? Still don't necessarily see anything that I like. This indicator right here is kind of saying entry here, exit, exit, exit. Not sure if I want to follow that, but I am thinking to the upside. So now like you got that indicator pointing in the direction that you want to go. Just waiting for more clear. Yeah, we're going up. I like all this action. We're gonna new levels. Hmm. Entry still 214. This is probably a little bit more ambitious. That's why I only went kind of one so far. I do like how all of this is shaping out to be though. Like I like that a lot. All this big delta. We came back in, retested it. Like we retest all this positive delta and we just went right back up. So I'm liking how everything looks here. This is a 9 EMA on the daily chart. Just gotta give it some time, see what it does. I'm not sure if I like ES. Where's that? ES is kind of like into this 5-minute cloud. I can see this pulling back down. Just not really that in sync right now. We're at the 5-minute high right here. And we fell, I would say. I don't exactly want to get out yet because all this buying happened right here. So I want to see if they're gonna appear again. And as of right now, it looks like they are. You see like low volume. This is volume. This is the delta of that volume. There's not a lot of volume down here compared to up here. You're just comparing it to other things. You got 800, 700, 1,000. Meanwhile, you have 4, 5, 4, 5. Like this volume seems insignificant to all the other volumes. It's the same thing with the delta. You want to see like all these big numbers, hundreds, are majorly bigger and stacked up together. That makes it different. I still very much like this to the upside. Once you hit the stop loss, I think you're gonna, yeah, you're gonna rip. You should rip some more. Again, you got yesterday's high as a target. You could target the 9 EMA. You could target a lot of things here. Pre-market highs all the way up here. So this thing could really get going. ES, you could see kind of back into this support zone. Okay, you can just see the positive delta climbing. And supporting this move up. I ain't gonna lie, I kind of wanted to get out, but I don't know why I'm too nervous right now. Because you're breaking highs of the 9 930 to 935 high. And in reality, unless we get back under it, I should still think bullish. It's just it doesn't happen right away, and I start getting a little nervous, and that's when I start doing dumb shit. Trying to practice holding when the market's kind of more like choppier. I mean, you're still above this 5-minute EMA. I mean, it looks great. You got all this positive delta. The question's always caught. The question is always, are they caught? Is there enough sellers to push this market back down, and then these become trap buyers? To me, you always have to think about both sides because there's a buying side and a selling side. To me, they're starting to look a little trap. Again, we're in all this positive delta. Can they hold it? If not, we're going to go down pretty bad. I did make like 375 last night, so I had some money to risk. Again, you just see the sellers can't get through all this positive delta as of right now, but they're kind of working through it. So to me, like another push, we have to go. Or sellers are just gonna start getting a little too happy that it's not going, and then they'll push the market down, in my eyes. When we get into like probably about, we'll say like 7, maybe 568, I'll probably put a stop loss in at break even just because if it don't break, I'm not interested in continuing. Not gonna lie, I was already thinking about just taking this little $40 loss and being done with it and waiting for the next setup, but I still think we gotta move up. Trying to practice holding on. You got all this positive delta here. But again, are they being trapped? We're at the top of this volume profile, which is cool. We left all this negative delta down here. I ain't the biggest fan of this. We got almost there and we didn't like do anything. We didn't even. I'll say the only thing holding me in and keeping me is this positive delta. There's just so much of it right now. And I came in kind of bullish, so it's kind of hard to be like I'm bullish and there's a shit ton of positive delta and it seems to be holding, so it kind of keeps you there because you still feel like you're right even though it's kind of like just not going. And this is normally my problem trading, like I'm not patient enough. And then when I am patient, I choose the wrong time to be patient, and then when I should be patient, I don't be patient because of being fucked every time I do actually wait. But this looks really good. Like really good, in my opinion. You want to see it take this 670 level, 567, and just rip. If it don't rip, we're just going to be doing the same thing we just did. And as I said, we're going to put our stop loss in at break even and see what it does. So at this point, you have no risk on the table. You just break even and you go on with your day and find another trade. I do love how ES is looking. You can see how we're curling above again. Again, just targeting yesterday's high would be a great level. You got, again, a ton of positive delta. Again, I shouldn't be that worried about this trade. It's actually a good trade. Especially at the point where I feel good. So like 568 is probably where I'll move my stop loss if we continue. Say like break that 80 level, that 580 level. I'll probably move it to that 568-ish. See, so like this is the first 15 minutes of the market, this green line, and we're holding above it. That's all great for me. 67 is that level. See how all these levels start talking to each other. We're just gonna put our stop loss at 67 because I don't really want it to come under this high of this 15-minute time frame. We're at this 9 EMA of the daily, which a lot of volume could come in here. Trying to practice on holding trades more. Normally I'd probably try to get out of that and then time the market and buy back in like right about here. But I'm trying to take better moves, so to speak. Not take so much risk and just take profit like that. That's like what, $100? I'll put this down here. So yeah, $100, 80, 80, 90, 91. Most people work all day for that. Fix it out later. Still very positive. I just 9 EMA. You could find a lot of volume around there, especially on daily charts. So anything solid like that is daily charts EMAs. So like this is 21, this is 9, this is 50, and the blue one down here, the 200. It's where I think a lot of volume coming in. This is another indicator, the green triangle, showing that it's a good time to buy. We could play off of that because we still haven't seen the TP from this entry. Still nervous about the red, the 9 EMA. We'll play if it gets over the 600 level. Again, look at all this positive delta, right? 738, 332, 283. You're about to add another, what was that, 160 something? Alright, this is their time to shine. Push it. Just all this positive delta. It's the only reason I'm getting back in. You know, yesterday's high is still a target of mine. But if ES hits it first, we got to keep an eye on that. ES could hit it first, and we could be going sideways. Just got to keep an eye on that. Just a ton of positive delta. This is the positive, or the delta of the session. So session starting from like last night at 6 o'clock at night. But we haven't been this high. Oh wait, we have been this high, but we haven't took out pre-market high. So you're just seeing a lot of positive delta. Just means there's more buyers than sellers. This is where I could probably add back at this 68, 66 level-ish. Again, I was worried about the 9 EMA, could feed into problems. But we're playing with a cushion of $500. And like right now it says negative 200, but like when you average in, it'll come down lower. I don't like that. You also got to keep in mind I use a 10-second chart. So it's pretty fast. There's a buy signal again. Kind of holding this 15-minute high. 67. There's 81. Look at all this positive delta. We just I am debating to get some more shares or more contracts. I look at these highs as like a support zone. So like if I want to draw support and resistance, I'll use that and use this as support. So you got the high of first 5 minutes and then the high of the first 15 minutes. And then just pair them together and make this like a buying zone. Kind of how I play, like support and resistance. Oh, don't look great. We also got this trend line, which has been something on a 4-hour time frame. I still like this upside. Be nice to get another like green arrow here. You hit all these stop losses right here, this column right here. Probably even get more because I think that's proven buyers are here. You could just see we dip into these levels of all this positive delta. We put in big delta numbers of negative and we can't hold it down. So what makes you think we're going to go down right now? The only thing is like this 9 EMA could be a problem, as I keep saying. I think we get over the 610 level, you could really see some movement to the yesterday's high. ES looks like it's trying to move. Again, you can see this 9 EMA being a problem. I'm going to reset the DOM, and that's because I just want to see what's happening right now. Because this is like an important area for me of the 9 EMA to find scalps off of. You gotta remember delta is just bid versus ask. So there's 55 more buying contracts at this level, 28 more negative contracts. And it's really like you could see buyers and sellers right on the DOM and who's winning at the level. If you see a big blue 200 and we're going down, that means that those people are trapped. Like this, how it's building to 90. If we go back under, all those contracts are trapped. You really want to play off of them and use them as like a support. So anytime it bounces into it, you want to see it jump up, and then you see the stop losses starting to come in. And for me, I would like to see this kind of get going. See how you have these big hundreds? If you keep going down, they will be trapped. But if you stay above it, you're using them as support. Look at all this positive delta. Again, just a lot of positive delta right now. This is crazy high. 700s, that's not normal. Anywhere like to 100 to like 200 is normal. Beginning of the day, 9:30 to like 10:30, 11, you might see bigger numbers like 100 to like 300, but anything over that's kind of like you're getting into bigger numbers. Again, these people could be trapped. And you always got to think about, are you being trapped? In my eyes. I still think we're moving up, so I don't view this as a trap yet. Not bad. You can see kind of like a bull flag kind of shaping on the 5 minute, possibly. Remember, I'm on 10 seconds, so it takes time for things to develop. This is something that I learned to deal with because I would shake myself out of shit. And then, like, if you just go to a higher time frame, you'd be able to see if I just calmed down, I would have been fine. And that's just me practicing with it for such a long time. I'm still very nervous. All this positive delta right here, and we're struggling to get through. That's a lot of positive delta. To be getting stuck like this, but lot what was I saying about the 9 EMA? You always have big numbers come around the 9 EMA because it's just a major level. Banks, like, in my eyes, banks that control billions of dollars, if they're building a system to control all this money, are you gonna buy at like 1 minute EMAs, or are you gonna buy on like dailies and like 4 hours, like higher time frames, because they're more safer? These people who don't want to exchange money, billions of dollars, on like a 1 minute EMA. To me, it's like 4 hours, 15, maybe 5 minutes for daily like trades. And then like you put more volume around these. And this is why you get so much volume around them. And this is why I try to play around them. I do have a feeling we're getting stuck. Hmm. This 5 minute could be something. Like, I only got two contracts. I'm willing to go in another 18, we'll say, for 20. Because I'm still looking at this like a buy area. These highs. ES is still holding their level for now. Right, we're just in all this positive delta again, which is also inside my 5 EMA. So this is why I'm talking about averaging in. These guys definitely got trapped. These big numbers over here, they got trapped for the moment. It doesn't mean they can't get bailed out. I'm gonna reset this delta again because we're in this 5 minute. I want to see what's happening just inside this 5 minute because I want to add in here. As you can see, I added in down here, just seeing a lot of positive delta. We're in a positive zone. I think it's going to go up. That's my direction. I'm using the 5 minute EMA. And again, I'm willing to get more. if it shows something good. I'm also willing to take the loss. Yeah, it's starting to come down a little bit. We're just in the 5 minute zone though. 5 minute EMA. You can see we're starting to push up. See how like I averaged in? I think it was the last time I made a video, I wasn't averaging in because I was unsure, but I was still trying to trade. That's the problem because my whole strategy relies on me adding in at good times. And when I don't add in, it becomes a problem because even if I think it's going to go down and I change my mind, I can at least bail out at this price and just take a $50 loss instead of taking that $200 loss. It's like a kind of like a bailout system or a average in to make more money. It depends on how I use it and what I'm feeling like. Like I wanted to push through this. I don't want it to get like hung up around this area where I just think it's going to go back down. Like I think it's really realistic to at least target this high. But again, I don't want to see it hang around here. And it's hanging around here. And this is where like I'll get out and then I'll do exactly what I want and then you get mad about it. This is things holding me up in my trading. This 567 level is the 15-minute high. I'm trying to see if it'll hold it. And you gotta remember, I still think all of this is like a buy area of support and resistance, and then the 5 minute EMA, all the delta. There's a reason why I'm trying to hold it, and I'll get more of this down here. But there's always risk to everything. I like all of this negative delta down here, and we're not like aggressively pushing through all this positive delta. We're still holding it as of right now. Don't mean we can't just push right through it. One news headline and this thing could go down to yesterday's low. And you see we're pushing out of this positive delta, which is also my 5 minute EMA. That's how I think like if I had billions of dollars, I would place it on like a EMA area and I came up with the 5 minute and the 15 minute for the daily. And then when I'm swing trading, I'm thinking of bigger time frames like 4 hour EMAs and daily EMAs. And this is how I use my clouds, I would say. So it's just a 5 minute 9 EMA and a 5 minute 21. And that's what I like to buy into or sell into, depending on which way it's pushing into. So if it's coming into it from the upside, I'm probably looking for longs. And if it's coming into it like to the downside, I'm looking for shorts. We gotta keep in mind, we're getting higher, lower high. So lower high, lower high, lower high. You want to crack this high or it's not going to go up in my opinion. And we come right back down here. Don't mean we can't just find buyers again right here. It's just you are playing higher low or lower high right now. And you could think of like double tops potentially And this is why I just don't trade patterns alone, because like if you don't have the direction, it doesn't matter what kind of patterns you're reading. Here's a double top. Why won't it work? Because you have the wrong direction, possibly. Here we go. We took this high, so I just want to put a stop loss in because it shouldn't pass this high and then come back in my humble opinion. But that 9 EMA is being a problem for on the daily. Just decisions. Which way is the bank's gonna send us? Really? Thinking about taking this $100. I am gonna take it at like 50. We're at 600. We want to blow past this. ES is looking great at the moment. I want to move this to 100. Just because we're at the 600 level, I would like to take 100, which I just did. And it's kind of how I trade. So 566. I think I had more. I don't know why it's not. Because I traded more last night. I just didn't record it. Yeah, so that's 807 for the day. It is a combine. It's not an actual account on here, but 800 a day, most people would die to have that. And then you can add more accounts to it. I'm getting a little worried here because this 9 EMA and all this positive delta up here, and we're not running through it. If we run right through it, I'll get interested again to the upside. But I think I would start buying again down here if I continue to trade. And there you go. Looks like we're going to the upside. And that's the aggravating part, right? You just had 4 contracts. I was keeping a tight stop loss because I wanted to lock in the $100, but you potentially lose out on more. This is what you can't do, but I love to do, is look at all the money you missed. But in reality, you have $800, or let's just say 566. That's great money for a day's worth of work, and it's 10 o'clock. Like, you got the whole day to yourself, and you have $800. Like, that's better than doctor money, lawyer money in my eyes. It's because you got the freedom of time as well with the money. And you have potential to make more. You obviously have potential to lose, but it's just using tools that you have. I like that. We might get into this again. You see all this positive delta here. Looks great. Still targeting yesterday's high. Here's my problem. Yesterday's high was hit on the ES. So sometimes that could mean like we're ready to go back down. And then NQ, we won't hit the yesterday's high because ES is already turning around. So until like ES confidently gets over yesterday's high, then you're looking for the run, I think. Like you're at yesterday's high right now. And that's going to say everything about like if ES pushes through that yesterday's high, this is going to push to yesterday's high. And it's cool to be patient Like you don't need to um be in everything. Something a lot of new traders have to learn. I'll walk you through some more. So like right here is Dow Jones. We're getting stuck at this 9 EMA, 200 EMA on the 4 hour, 9 EMA on the daily, yesterday's high. So we're above yesterday's high, which is bullish. So if we start breaking out, we're probably going to get some real movement to the upside. Same exact thing for, why is this not, oh, I have them linked. Give me 1 second. Okay, that's Dow Jones. This is the Russell. You have a little bit more of a difference. You're still under yesterday's high, but if you break out of yesterday's high, you could really get some momentum to the upside. You could see we already took previous week high. We took previous week's low already, same as NQ. So like once these highs and lows are taken, this is when I actually start getting a little bit more confused because my whole thing is like my directions come off of these highs and lows. So when they're all taken like this, it gets harder for me to understand where the market wants to go. And if you don't have the correct direction, it doesn't matter how you trade trend lines, support and resistance. It just doesn't matter because if you don't have the direction right, you're fucked. And that's why I apply so much force to trying to figure out the direction before anything else. And I'm always saying things like when I'm trying to teach somebody, like what I want you to do is pretty much take this high and low, and when it breaks a certain thing, say like we broke Asia's low, we didn't break London's low, but you see this market moving up and you break London's high. If your prediction was to go higher here within 50 points, if it doesn't go the direction you want, then you were wrong. And then after that, we could build the strategy of how you enter and how you don't enter. It's just if you don't have the direction right, there's nothing I can do. And then when all these highs and lows are taken, this is where I start losing the sense of direction because it's all based off of that. So like everything's hit beside this London low, London's low, pre-market low, and pre-market high. Everything else is hit. So I can either go like up to take this pre-market high, or I could say it's going down. It's all the way down here, which I don't really think that either because of this support and resistance. And this trend line scares me because it could very much hit this trend line and just go right back down. And this is why I'm trying. I don't know if I would take another trade. Or let me rephrase that. I shouldn't take another trade, but I probably will. And that's kind of a problem for me too. But if you break out of this trend line again like we did here, you're probably going to see up here again. So it's a really good move up. I'd even move this up a little bit. It's a really good move up if you get it. And if you don't get it, it still looks good like in this support area. You see how many times we touched it and held. See how we broke under and then we just ripped again? And this is what I mean by highs and lows. Like if you start understanding the highs and lows, like we put this Asia low in, and then London's low is higher than Asia's low, and we didn't go and get it. And then pre-market starts. If we take pre-market low the minute the market opens, and we just rip to the high side, take out all these highs, and then we hold above those highs, which means buyers are holding this, and I would play the upside all day. And then you ran into this gray line, which is like a resistance for me, and then you had some problems there. But from here to here, you should have got enough money for the day. Enough money, we'll say $500, $200 to $500 is enough debt for most people, because most people don't make that type of money. Maybe the 200, but like when you start crawling into the 300, 400, 500 range, most people don't have that money a day. And you're done by, again, this all happened from here to here, all happened and you were done by 12:30. So you worked from 9:30 to 12:30 for anywhere from 200 to $500. You got to take that. Again, I'm still, yesterday's high been taken, and then you can compare it to ES, right? We're taking that high. Maybe there was more trades I could have just did over talking, but I'm still nervous at the end of the day. It's I'm not sure what we're gonna do here, because yesterday's high, are we gonna find buyers above yesterday's high and we're just gonna tank up upside, pretty much probably pre-market high, or are we gonna find sellers here because we don't find buyers? You got a lot. Look at all this positive delta. These are all probably stop losses. People buying and stop losses. Right? So you got, I'd say all of this is great positive delta. So then when you go to a lower tick, anytime it dips into that, you could buy it. And that's how you utilize that. Then look at a chart for your highs and lows and buy off of that. Again, big problem of mine. This is where I bought. Look where it's at now. Could have had so much more money. It's not the greatest way to look at the market, because you should be happy with what you got, but as a human, you're going to be like, damn, look at all this money I left on the table. And then if you start trading again and then you start taking losses, you're going to be like, why did I start trading again? I should have just took the money and left. Like it's all about the mind with trading. Learning the charts and learning a strategy is the easiest part of trading. Your brain is what fucks it up. Like you play break and retest right here, which is kind of what I'm trying to look at. You broke yesterday's high, go up. You retest yesterday's high to see if you get to move up. And then once you cross this high, probably, you're going to get a lot of bullish activity above it, because you retested high, you confirm buyers are here, and you're going to push the market higher. Or you're going to fail, and it's going to fail really hard. Because if buyers push it above that and can't hold that, then that's a failed breakout. So this is like really critical area to hold. But then also, when do buyers come back in? Buyers could come back in here, here. They can come back anywhere. They can come back all the way down here. It could ride all the way back down here and then start buying again. So it's just more, to me, of a risk right now, because we're not sure which direction it's going. ES is just tanking. Oh, I was just on NQ, my bad. That's my fault. I was saying, like, fuck. Alright. Well, you see ES. So this is like the break and retest I was talking about. So you broke yesterday's high, and then you retest it. So like a break and retest strategy, and then you want it to go. And if it doesn't go, buyers are going to get punished because you pushed it above yesterday's high. Sellers are going to be like, you didn't continue it. There's no more buyers up here. And they could tank this down. But you can find buyers here. You can find buyers here. Buyers all through here. So it's like the risk right now I think is higher than the reward. Yeah, you could get it right. And if you do get it right, it's probably going to be a good amount of money. But the risk is high. Like we come up here, the volume's not high. You don't get big delta over here. So we weren't interested in this level yet as buyers. And we're pushing back down. I do like we're in this positive delta and we're putting in big negative delta. If we hold, that's a good sign that this yesterday's high will hold, or we're gonna tank if if these big numbers keep coming in. I don't really trade gold too much. I'm trying to practice on it, but gold looked great today. You had previous month's low, you broke it, no sellers to continue it, buyers step in, you get to break, retest, break, retest. This was a great trade. And you can see like we're kind of over this EMA, but is this a breakout and a fail and we're going to come back in? Or are we going to hold this 9 and keep going? Russell is still hanging around yesterday's high, but yeah. I mean, I would maybe be interested down here in this zone for a buying opportunity if buyers step in. But it's kind of tough to do something right now. You could play right here trying to use this as like support, but it's not the best support. And you're under all this positive delta. It doesn't mean it can't work. It's just trying to manage risk, and that doesn't seem like the best play. The best play is somewhere down here. So 600s, which start in this positive delta. And then you get the 15-minute high. Like there's more to base off of. You got the 9 EMA, the 5-minute cloud, the 15-minute high. So you could buy like 1, 2 contracts, maybe another 2 here, another 3, 4, and if it holds, you could probably like kind of full port whatever your full port is for the bounce up. When I'm confident, that's kind of what I do. A lot more size. I actually think the recording videos is kind of holding me true to not doing the things I normally do. And it's really the only reason I'm doing the videos. Because it's kind of holding me accountable to not do the retarded shit I do. See, I think this is a big area right here. You're either going to hold under this yesterday's high and then you're going to make a higher low. I mean, a lower high. And then it'll come back in and you'll get the big move fast. Or again, you could reclaim this and go. There wasn't enough sellers to push this market down further, and you just rip. Yeah, ES is kind of, you see we're kind of at yesterday's high. We're at a big point. Like, we need to hold and go, or it's going to crash. And if you get under this 15-minute cloud, I would start targeting the downside pretty hard because I'm sure if you don't hold this and then you don't hold this cloud and then you don't hold these highs right here, the 15-minute and the first 5-minute, I would look to target the lows. And then I would start thinking buyers are going to come in around here because of VWAP, 200 EMA, and the 15-minute cloud. And then you got Asia's high here. Like there's more. The trade for me better is right here. the trade up here is a little confusing right now. It's the same thing with NQ. Just need to give it more time, which that's one of my flaws, if I would have to say one is. A little impatient. That's why I actually went down to like a 10-second chart and a 30-second chart. Because I'm literally impatient and I wanted to find more trades. Because a 1 minute's just slow. There's not much there. I guess you buy here, that's your best buy. I like to be more engaged. I'm probably just gonna cut this video. I'll make another one if it comes down into an area that I like. But for now, we'll walk away with the $800 day. And maybe I'll start another combine to try to hold this account to almost pass, and then I could fuck around on another account. That's kind of been my idea of what I'm gonna do, like get one account over 500, then go to the next one, and then go to the next one, and I either lose 500 or I get 500 on each account. Just cycle them that way. It's kind of been my idea, but later.